Anytime we're treated to new music from Linkin Park in the post-Chester Bennington era, it's definitely a treat to uncover gems from the past, but with One More Light being such an unconventional album for Linkin Park, maybe one that some fans had to disassociate from in order to get something from, I think Friendly Fire is the missing piece of the puzzle that maybe they couldn't see at the time. Hey neighbor, what's going on? My name is John. I wanted to talk a little bit about Friendly Fire, the new single from the upcoming Greatest Hits Singles compilation that's coming out April 12th. It's called Paper Cuts, The Singles 2000 to 2023. Bit of a Linkin Park connoisseur over here. I'm extremely grateful to this band for the impact that they had on my life as a teenager, and even still to this day. I've found their music a lot harder to revisit since Chester's death by suicide in 2017. It really had a profound impact on me, something that crushed me, but also in the years following that, gave me a lot of hope just knowing that the music still resonates with millions of people. Friendly Fire might just be the final Linkin Park song, and I say that not necessarily because in sequential order, this is just the last one that was ever worked on. It was and it wasn't, because One More Light, the album, came out in 2017. It was not received well, and Chester, in hindsight, it's clear that he was not doing well mentally in both the way that he reacted and lashed out at the time. It seemed like he was really going through some personal struggles. And some of that, understandably, could have been connected to the passing of his good friend Chris Cornell, but a lot of it just seems like you never really know what's beneath the surface. Chester's iceberg emerges on Friendly Fire. This is a song that really encompasses the electronic rock side, electronic pop, whatever you want to call it. But it's done with grace. This is a song that their guitarist Brad Delson spoke about not really having finished in time for One More Light, but they all believed in it. They knew it was a song that they wanted to set aside for a later time. Friendly Fire was always one of our favorite songs from the One More Light sessions. Something about it wasn't quite right, so as close as it got to the finish line, we chose to set it aside for later. This is a song that I feel is better than 90% of the material on One More Light. And that's not me trying to slam the lid on that album again. Enough people have taken it out to the curb and put it out as trash. I think it's an album that does have its strong moments. Halfway Right is a banger, even though it does have generic tendencies written all over it. Sharp Edges, the title track, One More Light, that one is emotionally viscerating again in hindsight. There's other moments like Talking to Myself that do turn up the heat a little bit. It's just very inconsistent and all over the place. And all I'm saying is that Friendly Fire, dabbing that in there, it would have made the album a little bit stronger. Even if you hated One More Light with every fiber of your being, or else maybe you think you do because you haven't heard it in a really long time, I would encourage you to revisit it and also listen to this song after doing that, because it might make you appreciate Friendly Fire more just seeing what they were able to do and transcend by comparison. This is a track that features some really beautiful harmonic guitars. I'm talking both electric and acoustic, and if the music video footage is to be believed, then maybe that was Chester playing some of the acoustic on the record. Like I said, it's electronic pop rock, but it's done with intention. It's done with purpose. And we can't go without talking about the elephant in the room, that being Chester Bennington, who his presence is just larger than life. It feels like he never left us, because this song, with its heat-seeking missiles to the emotions, they eviscerate, and they definitely feel poignant and striking. We're pulling a trigger in an endless war is really a dark but beautiful way of looking at mental health and introspection, and just trying to pull up the bucket from the bottom of the well, pull ourselves back up and onto our feet again, but we keep hitting ourselves with Friendly Fire. Mike Shinoda's backing vocals on this cut are really subtle, but I love what he does with the synth textures here, and the fact that his voice on the second verse and that final chorus, or should I say the bridge, it really elevates this, not because it's overwhelming. It's not the call and response that maybe you would come to expect from their older material. This is something a little bit more nuanced, and I could appreciate that. This is absolutely a Chester Bennington track. This is primarily his voice, his thoughts, his fears that are floating to the surface. It's vulnerable in that way, but it does have that extra layer of gloss and production to make it feel at home in a variety of scenarios. Also have to give a shout out to Rob holding it down with the live drumming on this cut. I really do think that was a big detractor for me on One More Light. Not that Linkin Park have had like the most insane stellar drum parts ever. It's very rhythmic, it suits the track, it rarely goes overboard or goes that hard, but the live drumming here just adds an extra depth of humanity that I didn't necessarily expect, so color me pleasantly surprised. Here's to hoping Linkin Park continue mining some of the material out of their past catalog, whether it be demos for anniversaries or just a single here, a single there. A lot of people want to talk about the future of Linkin Park and if it's ever going to happen, but for me, even if it never does, which I would completely understand, they would be well within their rights to not continue on, but should they ever reunite, it might just be for touring, and we need to be okay with that, understanding the fact that maybe there will be other songs from the vault coming out from time to time. I'll pass it over to you guys. What are you thinking of Friendly Fire? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. For me, it definitely passes the vibe check, but let me know why you're enjoying it, not really feeling it, whatever your thoughts might be. Check out more of my Linkin Park content at the card above my head, and I'll see you soon on Beyond ARTV.